With the Karma and the Varus both banned, your Ashe Seraphine, has been very, very prominent. The Yunara and Sivir also able to be exchanged, but probably more for second game of Fearless. We'll see here. With the Jarvan ban, that makes me think you are going something like Ashe Seraphine, something low mobility at the very least, because Jarvan obviously is so much more successful versus Ashe and Seraphine type champions that can't just get out of his ulti. And so Dignitas say, okay, fine, you ban that, then we will snatch up the Seraphine. However, there are more than just Ezreal Karma you can play into Ashe Seraphine. Nautilus lanes, Nautilus lanes are great into it. I honestly, I don't even think it chances. I like going for kills on the Ashe Seraphine lane. Nautilus lanes are very, very popular, especially in Europe into it, and looking for kills on that Seraphine early on.
Yeah, I agree. It can be a very, very strong answer. Finally, it feels like people have fully adapted to the season changes and moved into the full Enchanter meta. I remember we were talking about this even in preseason. Ever since the World Quest, I was kind of predicting it was going to be an Enchanter meta, and now in Pro, the top 4 most played champions this split are Nami, Seraphine, Lulu, and Karma. And we are going to get the Nami and probably the Corki going alongside it. So that is kind of the expectation. You talked about the other option of the Nautilus, but they're going to go with kind of the more conservative option here, and expecting that we'll probably get jungle for Dignitas here. Otherwise, that's going to get banned out quite a bit. And
the Nami was nerfed a bit on this patch, so it'll be a little bit less, successful than previously. But the other best thing about Ashe Seraphine is, of course, the extra vision that it gives you early on with the Hawk Shot. So even though Dignitas, eXyu has to play into a Xin, which is a very strong, duelist champion and a worthy first pick jungle champion. It's fine when you have Hawkshot and you can keep track of him. And Skarner, this is another champion that I think has previously been underrated since the buffs that they gave to it. But we obviously saw it on day number 1. Hambach had a really, really good Skarner, and he apparently had also been terrorizing scrims with it. This champion, now you build it full tank. There were some bruiser options early on people were toying around with, but the Heartsteel full tank is just so much better, and you still do decent base damages in addition to the Omega CC that you bring. And if you're playing it with an Ashe Seraphine, it's like, this gives you a whole team fight package right here. Insane CC, good sustain for the team fights as well, massive front line, and you can drag the Xin around. So even though Xin can pop ultimate, and usually it's a crazy team fighting ability, when you can move that Xin around and determine whether people are going to be inside or outside of the ulti, sometimes you can get them into really bad spots. Plus, Xin is a champion that you can also pick off pretty easily because he has no escapes for himself.
And I mean, there's so much CC on the Dignitas side, obviously, not just the Skarner. You have Ishtal's Impact, you have the Impale, you have the Arrow, you have the Encore. Like, there's just infinite CC over on that side. Cassio was banned out, showcasing that maybe they wanted to go for Ryze, so then Dignitas responded with a Ryze ban of their own. And Ambessa going to be targeted here for Photon and potential flex to jungle, but mostly it is played top lane still these days.
Yeah, let's see. Trying to whittle down on some extra carry power because they're like, all right, Dignitas, you've got all of your team fight, except you probably want a lot more damage, or at least a little bit more damage in there. And so they take out 2 of the primary ones at the moment. I kind of like both the Cassio and the Ambessa bans with the recent Cassio buffs especially. So good little protection bans here as well for the possible Annie lock-in. All right.
I hate Annie blind.
Well, so to me, also Annie into Ashe, Seraphine, Skarner is kind of hard because the Annie, you have to get this explosive engage, and Skarner's very, very beefy and hard to get through. He can put a lot of threat back towards you. Plus, if you aren't successful in that early on, Seraphine helps sustain the team through the team fight as well. So I foresee this Annie having a difficult time, and especially if you get outranged in your lane phase, it can be really rough.
Well, and it's not even like you have to go weird to actually get a counter pick into Annie. Annie struggles into almost every control mage because you just get outranged, right? It's very, very difficult. The answer here is going to be the Anivia. So the Anivia, great combo with a Skarner. Obviously, you can put up the wall, stun them right into it. That's really nice. And it is going to make it difficult for the Xin to approach, for that Annie to approach. Xin charges in, you just get walled off. That can be difficult. expecting just, yeah, okay, Renekton. It's probably going to be like Gnar, Renekton top.
Yeah, I mean, DIG just want a stable game. Their team fight is crazy. They're just going to ball up death ball comp here. So Shopify, they're going to need to get some advantages early on. They're going to need to create some gold leads for themselves, because if you just let the game go very controlled, then this Dignitas squad are going to have an easy time just grouping up at objectives and trying to force you to, you know, front to back.
The expected picks here coming through at the end. Renekton going to be answered by the Gnar, as it almost always is these days. So pretty standard stuff here over on the Shopify side, but do have some concerns about how effective this Annie is going to be. When Annie falls behind, you could be so useless. I do think, you know, the early laning phase is going to be a lot easier against Anivia than it is against champions like Victor that can just be constantly poking you down and pushing you in. But Anivia obviously going to scale really well and have some strong interactions, you know, against the Annie, but also against champions like Zhao later, and really a good combo here with the Skarner. So I feel like I'm preferring what Dignitas has drafted quite a lot.
I just think it's easier. So yeah, I also am kind of on that side. That being said, Gnar into Renekton can kind of turn games around. If the Gnar gets ahead, you can have you know, lots of side lane threat, and then all of a sudden you have a few more options of how you want to play the mid game. If you do have a really good like split push threat, and if your lanes other lanes also start out successfully, but I foresee that being difficult. So kind of preferring the Dignitas side too.
Sometimes the best strategy is just to keep things simple here. Dignitas and Shopify kicking off their spring split here in the LCS. Final game of the MasterCard opening weekend here for spring split, and both teams looking to get off on the right foot. Shopify winless, not only in series in lock-in, but didn't get a single game, so still looking to get on the table this year.
Well, first steps first then, Azael. They got to win one game. That's the goal for now. Let's take a look here, though. Early wards in Dignitas' efforts to have a controlled early game. They get the defensive Fey Lights early, but Shopify do get a ward over on blue buff, so they will be able to surmise the bottom side start of eXyu. Skarner, though, a lot of times just starts on Raptors anyways, because you annihilate the Raptors. It's a really easy camp for Skarner with all of your free AoE that you do get. And it's going to be kind of interesting that he's pathing up to top side, though. And so this Ashe Seraphine lane is going to have to rely on Hawkshot and themselves kind of tracking this Zin to avoid the threat.
And so these were the average power rankings. It was 3.42 was the aggregate power rankings across all the talent. Kangas is getting his face in here because Kangas power ranked them first. The most wrong power rankings prediction of all time is what we're calling it. Power ranking them first and never getting a win. I don't know if anyone's been that wrong before, but Kangas managed it. And, you know, it was definitely a disappointing split for Shopify. But, of course, you know, all jokes aside, we mostly thought they would be a solid middle-of-the-pack team.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just did not pan out for them. So expectations still pretty high here for Shopify, and we'll see if they can turn things around.
All right, so the Hawkshot reveals, guess what? That Zin is probably invading you, because we just saw he only took his Raptor camp. So even with that Hawkshot not hitting the Zin, they still know that Contractz has been over there counter-jungling at least the blue buff, and you assume the Gromp as well.
And this was the quote from Palafox, you know, getting interviewed after winning the last grudge match. He says, hey, with Shopify, we got a little bit of beef, so it is a grudge match. It's nice to have everyone playing for that. You know, there's a little bit more on the line when you're a bit more kind of involved. And, hey, I always feel like when you're playing against your friends, you want them to think you're good. You want to, you know, really impress them. So when you're playing against your former teammates and friends who you got replaced on, you got to show out.
And we're going to have contact in the jungle as eXyu is found by Contractz, but he can just slide his way out. And I definitely agree. I'm also just happy that he admitted it. You know, a lot of times it's really hard to get players to be like, yeah, there is something behind this. There is a grudge. But he's like, yeah, it's definitely there. eXyu, though.
eXyu could be in a bit of trouble. Might have to burn the flash. Is going to be able to avoid the bubble. Palafox trading heavily with Zinie. He does still have his passive available as Gnar and FBI are moving up. Shopify getting corralled a little bit here. Zinie going to flash forward. They're looking to burst down eXyu. eXyu going to turn around and just try to fight for it. Doesn't have any damage to get something back here, though. Good engage from Shopify. They grab themselves first blood, and they will grab the scuttle.
Those are the exact types of bursty plays that you got to get, I feel like, with this Shopify draft that they're going for. And Zinie, even though he was low, he either follows the team call or he says, I'm doing it, and we're going to make a first blood play right here. Flash burned for Annie, and they do get the first blood, plus they get the crab afterwards. And again, he gets chunked down, but Palafox is also very low, and he doesn't have much mana. So Zinie says, fine, I'm going for it. FBI, look at his position. He was all the way down there going back to lane. And so I think it's just a good, killer instinct there from Shopify to be able to go grab first blood and actually, yeah, and the crab as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it's nice to just see that they fully committed to it. Instantly when Zinie flashes in, Contractz is there following up on him. Those are the kind of things you want to see when you're going to play a comp that can go for some of these snap engages. You got to be on the same page or it's going to fall flat.
Yeah, it's one of the things we were going to have our magnifying glass on for Shopify this split is how well they can work with Zinie, integrate Zinie into the team, and see about his individual performance as well. Now, you just spent your flash for the team play, though. You didn't get that kill, and now you have to play with no flash versus Anivia in mid. So he's going to do his best to keep up with the CS while getting pushed under tower here by Palafox and harassed a little bit. But as soon as he gets his bear, then you can also, go for bear on wave plays if you really want to, and that can help you get push out and buy or roam timers as well.
Yeah, I just like that Palafox is trading so heavily. It's really nice when you can use your passive effectively in lane, right? You're just constantly forcing them to take trades. At this point in the game, and Annie cannot kill you by herself, and they're going to look for a potential dive here as Fudge is TPing back in. He's going to get the bad news. They are there waiting for eXyu's impact into the wall. Photon is level 6, and Fudge is in a lot of trouble. Flash is trying to outplay, but eXyu is tanking it up. Will eventually fall that final shot. But the kill goes the way of Photon, and the wave will get denied, plus a plate. So this is really good for DIG.
Oh, honestly, I mean, obviously it was miscalculated there because eXyu could have dropped that last tower shot instead. Didn't think it was gonna. He didn't think it was gonna do quite that much. All heated up, and the flashes did cause a little bit of extra delay. But as you say, a lot of the wave value here is lost for Fudge. So still pretty big advantage, as well as getting assisted kill. Is always nice for the extra bonus money there, too. Meanwhile, Zinie held onto his bear. He goes back for another purchase as well. Dragon picked up in the aftermath there for Shopify by Contractz. So the early game going pretty decently for themselves. Getting a dragon early on definitely will be important. So it will take away some of the pressure from Dignitas's ball comp to be able to group up and try and force you into fights that you don't want to take.
Yeah, absolutely will. I mean, Photon got 2 plates. They deny a wave, so he's up 8 CS right now, but the wave is grouped and pushing towards him. It's good that Contractz was able to get the dragon back, as you're saying. Things pretty even overall. Barely any gold separating the 2 teams, and it is just kind of that slight advantage on the top side for the advantage that Seos has down in that bottom lane, as he was the recipient of the first blood down through that bot side skirmish.
Let's see here. Skarner approaching level 6 possible play, but the flash from Zinie still on cooldown, so there's going to be a little bit of overlap. eXyu can get a couple more camps off his blue side, and then maybe they could try and punish Palafox, but Palafox has done a good, Zinie has done a good job during his flash cooldown thus far, not exposing himself, and so if he just waits out a little bit more of that danger zone, then he'll be able to, react to a Skarner gank if they do try and pull one towards mid, which, Anivia and Skarner, if you have flash, you are so much more safe.
Whoa.
Whoa, okay.
That was close.
Yeah, that one kind of blew right by, but looking for an extra little bit of burst here. Nice wall from Palafox, and that is...
Yeah, that is really nicely placed there by Palafox. Just had him locked in that corner. And that's the problem with all these kind of like lower range champions into Anivia is you walk up, you just get walled off, you're slowed up by the Glacial Storm, and you can take these types of trades. He is forced at the end of the day to use the Tibbers, has no TP, so he's going to lose, at least a couple minions here. Maybe not much. Maybe it's just going to be that melee minion at the end of the day because it is a full HP cannon to tank that up. But Palafox gets the push, is able to reset, and is going for the more kind of new age build, skipping tier, and you just go Roa into Leandries is what most people go for these days.
And meanwhile, top side, that might be where this Skarner ult actually goes. Fudge again, still no flash. He is getting close to Mega though.
Yeah, this could be risky. He's about to Mega out. They're going to look for him, and in comes Contractz, and they might be in a lot of trouble here. He's going to go Mega. Can they finish him off? The Impale comes down, but they don't have the damage. The Gnar into the wall. eXyu is taken out. Photon tanks the tower shot. Contractz was there, and even if he wasn't, it was going to be a tough dive with the Mega Gnar ready.
Yeah, Fudge gets his revenge this time around. Mega's out. Contractz is there for the cover. That's going to be the grubs as well. So all the objectives here are starting to stack up for Shopify. Zinie right in the face of Palafox. He doesn't have his Tibbers, but trading fairly aggressively anyway.
Yeah, doing a good job trading there. 3 deaths already for eXyu, only 9 minutes in. Has been kind of, getting picked on in a few of these fights. You can see the Renekton TPing back out towards topside. So they will stop the full grubs from being taken. Contract's just going to grab one and back off, and we'll be pretty happy with that. But Photon maintains a slight gold lead up on that top side, but Fudge obviously not going to be too worried about the matchup at this point after that counter gank came through from Contractz.
Yeah, that feels really, really good for him. Was able to get a lot of the rest of the CS afterwards too. So here's another look at it. Again, Contractz was just resetting. So Dignitas didn't really do any sort of checks of, where he could be, because just resetting from base here, super nice for him, and comes in at the Mega time. Kind of rough there for the side of Dignitas. Just kind of firing that one off. He's like, yeah, what are we? We're not checking. We're not thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I still feel like it would have been close even without the jungler there.
With just Mega even.
With Contractz there, obviously there was no way it was ever going to work. But with just Mega, I don't know. It was going to be dicey. And Fudge now in a comfortable spot, gets the Gnar into the wall, hits the wallop, hits the boulder toss, and is trading well as we see our MasterCard power spike coming through there. Contractz completing the Sundered Sky thanks to some of the gold he picked up on the top side. And he is going to be very strong on the map in any of these skirmishes right now.
And I just went back, and they hadn't seen Contractz for like over a minute, almost a minute and a half. They hadn't seen him. He was just full clearing his jungle, and so
object permanence.
That's a long
Doesn't
time.
exist. You haven't seen him.
If you haven't tracked him in that long, definitely a bit risky to just go for the dive here. But regardless, Shopify with that extra advantage here, getting a little bit dangerous up there. It's still okay. All these gold leads are fairly close, so there's no meaningful item differences or anything, but it does kind of take away a lot of the work that Photon had been doing.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Palafox, though, building a nice advantage for himself, helping to keep the gold close with that individual 500 gold advantage that he has built. As Photon going in aggressive, going to pop the Dominus here, but Fudge is already in Mega, and feels like he should just be able to walk this one off. Didn't have his Gnar available to actually trade out the ultis, but that will be next time he goes Mega. Palafox getting hit down pretty low, but Dignitas looking to try to challenge here at the Dragon. The Encore comes through. Gnar trying to CC them up. It's a nice 2-man impale there from eXyu as he grabs the Dragon for himself. Palafox is on the run on one side. eXyu looks like he's going to fall again. Knocked down there by Contractz. FBI is standing and fighting. Bvoy is low, but FBI can't finish him. And now Zinie has popped the egg here from Palafox. Shopify is going to come in and try to finish him off. Contractz getting involved. Will charge on in and knock down Palafox as FBI still fighting on the side, but Zinie is here with the stun charged up, and FBI is going to get knocked down. It's a double for Zinie. It's 7-1 for Shopify as they fully take control.
All right, Zinie is doing so much work here. The rest of Shopify had kind of soft lost the other side of the fight, but because Zinie takes Palafox down into an egg, he actually saves his stun and then leaves the egg for Contractz to just finish off, saves his stun, wraps around to get 2 more. The kind of silver lining for Dignitas is that eXyu did walk back to go grab the Dragon, so at least they got that. But look at this side of your screen here. As Zinie's able to stun up Palafox and chase him down, he then puts him into egg, and then he charges up his stun on the egg, then immediately just walks straight down here to clean up the extra kill, chase down FBI, who is dodging out the bubble from Seos, and allows Shopify the extra double here. So even though you got the Mountain Dragon for Dignitas, losing out a bit more gold, and that starts to get very dangerous. Zinie here does have his Malignance, although looks like eXyu and Palafox are the ones that are forced to run.
Yeah, they're going to try to run here. eXyu gets interrupted on the eStall's impact. He doesn't have anywhere to go. We'll see if he's going to be able to try to flash out. The flash to the side there from Contractz as he's just fighting heavily, charging in on a Palafox as Bvoy arrives from bot lane to help clean it up. And bad goes to worse. Before that Dragon fight, it was a 500 gold lead. Now it's 3K.
I mean, that was a really bad time for Invade right there for Dignitas. They get caught with the eggless Anivia and a Skarner in the river. You have no threat of winning the duel. And the ultimate grudge match, Bowl 2, seems to be going the opposite way this time around. Contractz, as we talked about here, with Zinie, chases them into the river, and because the bottom lane can move up first, that is an easy couple of extra kills. They take down their former mid laner, Azael. Palafox gets scrambled.
Palafox was slowly building that lead in mid lane, but it's all for nothing now as Zinie has been the one winning out in these skirmishes. 3-0-2, now up 700 gold for himself and 7 stacks on the Darksteel as Kobe is highlighting there. So he is looking strong. Everyone across the board here for Shopify has their first item completed. We're still waiting for that from FBI, but the Kraken now is done as Contract's going to go back and we'll eventually get the 3 grubs. I feel like that's so rare to have them so disjointed like that, you know, to have one really early taken and the other team never gets one back to stop the 3.
Yeah, they're the afterthought grubs, the leftovers. I mean, they really got nerfed hard on this season, and so the gold value and experience value was hit so hard that a lot of junglers are like, I mean, I guess if they're there and I have a lot extra time, then I'll go grab them.
Ugh. Disgusting.
Yeah. Sure.
If I have to.
Okay, I will say though, man, Zinie, is this the Shopify that was promised, Azael, with the Zinie signing? Because they are looking a lot better this time around.
They really are. They're looking much better. And people knew that the ceiling of a lot of these players is quite high. And if Zinie can be unlocked, if the team is looking coordinated, they definitely have the potential to be strong. Bvoy last year, I think, impressed a lot of people with his individual play. You know, and a lot of these Shopify players just did not have a good split. So we'll see if they can keep it going in this game.
And this is also one of those really strong, you know, Contractz games where he's on a fighter jungler. You know, it's a very advantageous 1v1 matchup for Zin. Conquer Zin, you know, previously when Skarner was even at its Skarner's heights was one of the answers where, like, yeah, you can build it into the Skarner. The team play for Skarner is still there, but let's take a look at this Rift Herald start because Contractz is level 11 on the Zin with a very healthy lead for himself now. And Photon?
Yeah, Photon looking for the 1v1, has the Stride Breaker, and Fudge has no Mega in sight. Burns down to the Dominus. That's an easy solo kill for Photon and a little bit of life for Dignitas in this game.
Yeah, Renekton ultimate was giga buffed and just kind of walks him down there. So nice little stop for them. Looks like it's still going to be Rift Herald for Shopify, despite Fudge going down and Photon getting an extra turret plate after on the bottom side too. But, I mean, this could have some long-lasting ramifications for the side lane. We'll see how big Photon can actually get. Other than that, though, Shopify, the Annie initiation here with Nami ult follow-ups too are very, very scary. And with the gold that the team overall has gotten, here we go though.
Yeah, eXyu looking for it. He flashes forward, but Sales flashes away. The arrow goes wide. The Encore comes through, but it's just on the Contractz, who has the Crescent Guard up and available. Bvoy pushing forward with the big one. eXyu getting low. The Palafox will be there to stop the chase coming through, but still, that fight is such a big HP advantage, it's almost guaranteed to be the Dragon for Shopify, and Dignitas is just going to try to trade topside for plates.
Yeah, they did at least trade eXyu Flash for both Bvoy and Seos Flash in the skirmish, and Photon, you know, continues trying to split push on the other side of the map, but as you say, Dragon is going to go to Shopify. They will get the Hex Drake. They will, you know, continue stacking here.
Nice little wall there in onto Bvoy, but going to be able to... Oh, no, I thought he was going to be able to sidestep the stun. Still actually tagged him with the very edge, and Palafox showing the power of the Anivia here. Is still scaling up. Does have an extra mana crystal, so maybe not going to be going in for the expected Leandries.
Honestly, too, like when you group up this team and we start to see the power of the Seraphine team fight, Anivia controlling space, you know, you get your Rod of Ages stacked, then they can really bring the extra power to the actual team fight. But currently still, the long push on the side lanes. Zinie got some cover. but not enough to go for one more wave and finish off that tower.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much CC on the Dignitas side, so you always have a chance. You know, if you can actually get that first bit of CC down on a squishy target, they can just die 100-0. Like, Annie, no problem. If you hit Annie with an arrow, Encore there, then the Impale, you know, there's so much CC that can come through to be able to finish them off. So definitely in this game with a chance, only down 2K now, was up to about 3,000 a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, I think that is going to be the key, though. Can they hit their Ashe arrows, and can they hit their follow-up CC here? FBI going to have to control some vision so that he can fire his Ashe arrow from Fog of War, and that gives you a really good chance for the Skarner and Seraphine follow-up. Otherwise, Skarner and Seraphine are a little slow-moving, and so we did see, like, oh, Annie can, like, stun the Skarner out of the E or something like that. And then you still have to flash the Seraphine bounce off the top of the Skarner's head, but we'll see about the next team fight setup. Still very, very competitive here.
Yeah, there's the TP coming in. They're trying to go for Contractz. Zinie is here as well. The Impale's going to land in onto Zinie. Zinie taking a lot of damage. And Gnar with a big flash encore as Photon shows up and pushes the rest of the team back. At the end of the day, it is a 1-for-1, though, as eXyu falls for the trade onto Zinie.
And there's no real objective to go over. That's just a fight in the river. There's no dragon or anything. I mean, you could say, yeah, you know, Baron's coming up, but it's so early. It's crazy to, look about rushing a Baron or anything like that. So the 1-for-1 is going to remain just the 1-for-1, and it's like a couple extra flashes and one teleport invested here.
And I do think the TP is actually a pretty big deal because that's your strongest member. So he won't actually have teleport for this dragon when that does come up, where Fudge's teleport is going to be coming back up. So Fudge can go topside and try to answer there. They could try to utilize Palafox in his TP to maybe answer the Gnar in the side lane. But Anivia always can be a little bit difficult to play through these side lanes. You are very slow moving, as you said, if someone gets behind you.
Yeah. It's kind of that's a drawback of just fighting when there's not a lot to take afterwards, because even though, like, you have health advantages and kind of position afterwards, I mean, at the end of the day, it was 1-for-1, so that's about even, and then you can't really do a whole lot else. So we'll see if Fudge is, like, safe in the side lanes, because it is a Sterix completed for Photon, so he may not have teleport, but he's got 2 items, so maybe he could just get the pressure and then walk over anyway.
Yeah, he's going to be quite strong. I'm interested to see if it's going to be just like a Malignance or if it's going to be an Actualizer or what the second item will be here for Palafox. So he does have the Lost Chapter completed. Again, mostly these days I do see Leandris as the second item. So it's going to be going for a little bit of a different approach. Obviously, Malignance really, really good. Your ult is down all the time. And I have seen people try to cook with Actualizer on more and more champions as that item keeps kind of getting buffed and made cheaper. But I don't feel like it would be the best on Anivia, so I'm kind of expecting the Malignance as Shopify moving towards top side. But eXyu is in the area to potentially try to counter gank this, and we'll go in with Ishtal's impact. But Contractz pretty tanky, going to get pulled in over towards the tower, but the aggro is not on to him until just now. He's going to get charmed up, but the teleport's coming through here from the Gnar. The fight will continue. Contractz walled in and slowly getting rotted down. Shopify will have to back off here.
And that was all with Photon pushing. You know, you've got the Renekton bomb side. You said teleport advantage. Guess what? Your teleport advantage is burned for nothing here. The Renekton's still splitting, so big win for Dignitas. And we talked about the comp. It just makes it so hard for Zin to move. Skarner ult, and then you got Anivia walled off afterwards, so he doesn't die, but Shopify have just burned their teleport, and Renekton got a full push on the bottom side. That's up to a 2,000 individual gold lead for Photon now.
You're also kind of just seeing the power of a draft, right? Where it looks so funny to think about how competitive the mid-jungle looks when you have a combined 305 and a 313, and then on the other side, it's a combined 0-8 and 2. And still, making it look even as the Malignance is now complete. Rocket Belt going to be finished there for Zinie to help with the engages, but Shopify first to the objective and going to be trying to start this off. Zinie flashes in, it's a 4-man stun, and Gnar is just gone. What an engage from Zinie. Bvoy with the big one will not quite connect onto eXyu, but it doesn't matter because the fight is over before it ever truly started.
Welcome to the LCS, Zinie. That is the Zinie that was promised. Holy, 4-person just splatter right there. And the Seraphine instantly dies. I mean, that's gonna put them on soul point. That's a huge gold lead. That is the most critical play of the entire game right there. And Shopify are feeling great.
That was just a great angle. They did not have eyes on Zinie, and as they all group up here, they are spotted.
Yeah. Oh, it's so juicy. The W and ultimate combo right there. You can W flash. The live react pip is good. I like that. That production's cooking on this one.
Coach Cam's go crazy for sure. He's like, we're not hawkshotting. We're not checking anything. We're not checking where the Annie is.
I love this iteration so much more because sometimes we have they're like desynced and you have to be like, what exact thing was he reacting to?
What was he mad about?
I love the picture-in-pictures during the exact time during the fight. That is. That was good. I like that.
Got to check those brushes. Did not track where the Annie is. Weren't able to hawkshot him out. Weren't able to use the blue trinkets that they have. So just didn't use any of the tools that they have to actually check these brushes, and they get punished big time for it. It's a 2,000 gold lead, and it is Soul Point, and it is Hex Tech Soul, one of the most difficult ones to play into. I would say it's probably the ones that most pros will tell you is the most highly prized. Very difficult to deal with, and Fudge
ask Cloud9 about that one. I love it. They meme on it themselves about it looks like something like an 8% chance or something of pro teams that had lost with Hex Tech Soul, but we'll see. Still got to get the last.
Be the 8%.
Yeah, you got to get the last one as well. So it doesn't matter until you get the final dragon for your soul.
Exactly. So we'll see if they can get there. Still, Dignitas going to be having a decent shot with their composition. FBI now finishing up his third item. So keeping pace very comfortably with where Bvoy is. It really is just the big advantage in mid-jungle for Shopify. And on the other side, the big advantage for Photon up in that top side. If Zinie can't find an engage like that, I still think it's going to be really hard for the Zin and the Annie to find a great effect in this fight. Nice self-Mikhails there from Zeus. Really well timed. Doesn't panic, doesn't flash heal, anything. Just an easy Mikhails on the arrow.
Yeah, good reaction. The Mikhails cooldown still is significant, so I still like going for the shot here for FBI. Your Ashe arrow, pretty low cooldown, and you get a little bit of kind of overlap with the next one coming up, and then if you just fire it off immediately, maybe from Fog of War, you can sneak attack somebody, but we'll see. The siege is still going to continue regardless, and the oppressive comp here joining up at the tower. Nami wave does go down defensively, but it's just going to delay for one more wave.
Yeah, just going to be able to use to clearing out that wave, and yeah, I mean, you get the Mikhails cooldown, and you got to make them make the play, right? Because if he doesn't hit that perfect timing on the Mikhails, if you're already stunned, you can't do it. You have to press it as it is hitting you because it has this little mini cast time, which allows you to self-cleanse stuns. You can't actually cleanse yourself when you are already stunned. Photon, though, threatening on the side here does mean they will eventually move up, get down this Tier 1 tower. You talked about them playing Deathball, and that is clearly the strategy. As Shopify were pushing out the side lanes, both top and bot, so going to be able to get a little bit of extra gold on their solo laners, but Dignitas do take away that mid lane tower, which might help for this next dragon coming up.
All right, position for this dragon. You need to get there really early because if you let Dignitas have full vision coverage leading up to the dragon, your approach is incredibly difficult and you get no chances for Zinie to pull off a play like last time. Of course, he also doesn't have his flash quite yet, so impossible to pull off the exact play from last time, but vision is also the first step in even opening up a possibility for yourselves.
It's really big, and Photon right now is pushing top because he's very close to his third item. So he has a lot of gold. He wants to get this third item. This would be a very strong part of the game for him. Level 17 on the Renekton will have that roll quest TP with the fat shield available, and I think he should have gold. He's sitting in base, so yep, there's the Shojin. He is super strong, and they're going to TP in immediately. Double TP's coming in, and Contractz on the side surprises Gnar. Gnar is just getting deleted so quickly. Fudge arrives with Mega ready. Photon is here to fight, but the fight is already done. His team has lost it before he even arrived. Shopify just clean up the bot lane, no problem, and now are heading straight up to the Baron.
They keep assassinating this Seraphine. If it's not Zinie flash over the top, it's Contractz with the charge from the side, and they take out the squishy heart of this Deathball comp so they don't have to go through any of the front line, and Zinie wants a piece of Palafox.
Palafox going to try to kite this one out. Zinie does have the flash if he wants to use it. Flashes forward, pops the egg, and Fudge is there to help scramble it. Chef Fudge will help Zinie take another one down as they're going to grab the Baron on the other side. They're going to be able to grab, you have to think, the Soul as well. They will take their resets first, though, and push out these waves, but they're going to be running right over and trying to get this. And Palafox is going to be dead for a long time with no TP, so it is a long shot here for eXyu to get a dragon.
Yeah, I think this might be wrapping it up. Again, the vision advantage, they're here first. Shopify, so look at Contractz on the minimap, comes through their own jungle. Gnar doesn't expect it. They're coming from their own side, and he just jumps right on him. Free kill on the Seraphine at the start of the fight. There goes all your value, and Dignitas were just so split up. That was like 3 members chasing, some still teleporting in. Like, you don't even have your whole death ball completed.
Oh, big impale there, though. Does pull back the Gnar and get a shutdown. The Soul is going to be claimed, though, on the other side. So now it becomes a bit of a nightmare here, trying to get in and deal with those slows. Can Dignitas close the gap? Try to get up and take down Bvoy. They're going to look for the Ishal's impact coming through, though. But eXyu gets stunned up, bubbled up. They will be able to keep him alive. But Contractz is pushing through mid. And the kiting is just so difficult to deal with. Yeah,
with Hex Soul, you can just toy with them. Throw out these Corki rockets, all of a sudden, boom, everybody is slowed. Annie's stun goes...
Oh, Bvoy takes him down. Photon is into the back line, but doesn't have the damage to finish him off. And now FBI is going to be slowed down, knocked down there by Corki. It's a rocket to the face, and you're back in the base. Gnar will be slowed, and now Contractz is behind you. The rest of Dignitas going to get the bad news. Gnar will try to cut it out. The CC chain onto Contractz, but he just flashes forward. He's good for one at least. Takes down Gnar. Has the GA to revive. The rest of the team will keep him safe, you have to think. As the tier 2 tower does fall, and it feels like Shopify have all but wrapped up this game.
They certainly have. The siege actually continues with the Baron buff here. They're going to work in on it while Contractz goes to heal off the Krugs. The bubble hits into the combo.
Oh, eXyu flashes forward, looks for the Ishal's impact, trying to finish off Zinie. Will be able to get one, and Photon lives, but eXyu will fall in the attempt. Palafox is back up, but look at the Gnar pushing up topside. Shopify extending the gold lead further and further.
They certainly do, and with the extra power from all the Giga buffs here, looks like it's going to be very difficult for Dignitas to stabilize it all in this thing. They're just getting picked apart and kited so effortlessly. This Corki is a menace. Bvoy right now is kind of dancing on him. And he's still got both summoner spells left to do it. He can continue dancing.
Yeah, doesn't even have his upgraded shoes, doesn't even need them, as he has the Infinity Edge completed for a while now, working towards his 5th item, ridiculously strong. Mid-jungle so far ahead as well here for Shopify. Contractz having a great game these last couple of fights, being able to just get in and have such a big effect in the backline. Photon still maintains about 1,000 gold lead, but just doesn't really matter at this point in the game. Renekton has really been outpaced. It's a 9K gold lead plus the soul stats. You're looking at 14,000, 15,000 essentially effective stats worth of advantage.
Yeah. All right. Shopify starting out spring on a completely different note. They did not win a single game in lock-in, and yet coming out very, very powerful here in the opener versus Dignitas. Their grudge match bowl versus their former mid laner Palafox, going quite nicely for themselves. Some really decisive play is one of the biggest things as well. A good indicator for the team where no hesitation from a lot of these Zinie plays on the Annie has been looking pretty snappy.
It's been a long time since they actually picked up their last game win. Shopify, last time they won was in playoffs last summer against Team Liquid. They were able to get a win there. But obviously, you know, didn't go to Worlds. That was a very long time ago. So been hungry for that win for quite some time now, and looking like they are on the verge of finally breaking that streak and picking up a much-needed win after a long time.
All right, only one step left for them to do it. Close in on this base. You've got Baron as well as Elder coming in a couple minutes, so maybe they'll just go for a light siege with their Hextech Soul.
Ooh.
or
Those Rockets are looking
heavy
more like a heavy
artillery.
siege. They're going to go for the engage. Zinie just goes in immediately. The Encore there to try to peel from Gnar, but it doesn't matter. The Anivia gets cooked. eXyu stunned against the wall. eXyu will fall as well. Shopify just want to end the game. Fudge is chasing in onto FBI. Bvoy flashes forward. The boss bomb almost gets it, but the auto attack does. Photon fighting back, but he can do nothing. Tibbers is tanking up the tower. Fudge is going to miss on the Gnar, but in goes Bvoy. Photon has the Sterix. It'll keep him alive, but it can't defend the base. Shopify just slam home the dive.
Oof. All right, the question is, Bvoy or Contractz or Zinie? Like, it actually is pretty hard to choose player of the game this time around, but Shopify are gonna get their long-awaited win.
Zinie flashing in again, finding another engage on the steps of the fountain. Shopify 24-5. Nearly a 15,000 gold lead. They clean up game number 1, get their first win of the year.
I think I'm gonna have to go back to the Zinie play. I'm gonna give the player of the game for me to Zinie, the winner of this iteration of the Ultimate Grudge Match Bowl Part 2. Analyst, how are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling it's Shopify
great.
season.
I feel like I finally saw glimpses of what I saw from Zinie in LCK challenges, right?
Yep.
It was these kind of big plays from the really early river fight where he actually goes in for the stun. I thought that was great.
Looking good. We